Hi, I'm Andrew with CauseIQ. Today, we're going to discuss CauseIQ's HubSpot integration, which is included for our pro and enterprise customers. It's important to note that as of the summer of 2026, our integration only supports company level creation and enrichment. We plan on rolling out the integration to the contact level soon. The content of this video is going to pick up after the authentication and connection process. There's a link to our HubSpot integration documentation in the description of this video that walks you through those steps. So on this video, we're going to take a look at the property mapping page, how to create new company records, both in bulk and one at a time, as well as how to enrich your existing company records with CauseIQ data. So we're going to pick up right within HubSpot. And what we're looking at here is the CauseIQ integration page. I typically access the integration page from the top nav bar. And then there is where you can view your connected apps. So within this integration page, you'll notice a few different tabs that you'll work with. I'm going to go into the settings tab now. The settings tab here is where you'll link your HubSpot company fields to corresponding fields in CauseIQ. So these are going to be the fields that you want to enrich, the fields that you want to populate when you're creating new company records. So within this page, we'll have the option here where it says which properties to map. So from this dropdown, these are going to be all of my HubSpot properties. So within here, for example, let's look for a number of employees property. I'm going to select that option. And now if I scroll down, right, this is where we'll see the HubSpot properties on the left and then corresponding CauseIQ matching options here on the right. You'll see that new number of employees property that I just added to the top of this page. So what we can do here now is we can choose a CauseIQ field to map this to. So let's go ahead and search for employees. The corresponding CauseIQ field name that I want to work with is number of employees. I've selected that. And now let's go ahead and save this settings page by just clicking the save button there. And we can see here we get the settings saved successfully notification. And if we go back up, we can see number of employees has been added to this properties mapping section. Next, let's take a look at the Create tab. So within the Create page, you'll see here we can create new company records one at a time with this organization lookup, and then we'll also have the option to create company records in bulk via CauseIQ Safe Search. Let's first take a look at how we can create a new company record using the integration at the individual level. So within here, what we need to do is enter an EIN for the company that we want to create. So for today, let's go ahead and choose this EIN here. We'll look up the organization. The example that we're working with here is the Neighborhood Health Clinic located in Naples, Florida. If this is the record that I want to create, you'll see here on the right, I have this Create Record button. I'll click that. And now you can see CauseIQ went ahead and created the company, and then we have the link directly to the company record in HubSpot. Next, let's take a look at the create option in bulk. So I'm going to toggle over to this create via saved CauseIQ search. So a prerequisite here is to access our CauseIQ account, put together an organization search of relevant filters that are creating a target segment. So for example, categories, locations, size by revenues, employees, things like that. And then within your CauseIQ account, you have the option to save those searches. So now back in HubSpot, what I can do is I can retrieve all of the saved searches of the corresponding CauseIQ account that's linked to the integration. So let's take a look at this 2026 food bank campaign targets. CauseIQ will load details on the search, including the filters used, the matching of organizations, the creation date of the search, and then also a link directly to the CauseIQ Save Search page. So what I can do here now is I can tell CauseIQ to go ahead and create the HubSpot company records from this search. I do have the option to also link up any records that are belonging to the Save Search that are already in HubSpot. So this will allow me to create that linkage and thus not create a duplicate company record. All right, that process of creating company records in bulk is now done. Once the system creates the company records, you'll receive a CSV file to your email address that just summarizes the creation. Next, let's talk about how we can enrich our existing company records using the HubSpot integration. The enrichment can also be done in bulk or at the individual level. Let's talk about how we can do this in bulk first. So a prerequisite to enriching our company records with CosIQ data in bulk is to link up and match the records. So you'll notice in our CosIQ integration page, there's going to be a match tab here. Within the match tab, what we'll be able to do is choose any of our company segments or lists that we've created in HubSpot. So the drop down here will show all of my segments and lists. For example, if we were taking a look at the West Coast groups here today, you can see CosIQ will provide an overview of the segment here. And then you'll have an option for a couple different auto match types. So these types will differ based off the properties that we've mapped in that settings page. The CosIQ matching algorithm will respect fields like the company name, location with city and state and zip code, website domain, EIN, if it's mapped as a property, as a few examples. You also see here within the auto match type, if we want to match just off the name, we have that option. And then if we've mapped an EIN, we do have that option to do an exact EIN match. So once we've chosen the appropriate auto match type, we'll go ahead and hit Start Auto Match. Once the system finishes that process, if we click the Enrich button here, this is the enrichment page for bulk enrichment. You'll see here now we need to tell CosIQ which companies to enrich by selecting a company segment. And then below is just where we need to tell CosIQ which properties do we want to update. So again, these properties are respecting all the properties that we mapped in that settings page at the start of the video. And then as we scroll down the enrichment page, I'll have an option to choose my enrichment type. So what I can do is just update the values if on the company record, the properties are missing or blank, or if I want to overwrite all properties with CosIQ data, I can select that option there. I'll confirm my details, and then I'll go ahead and start the enrichment here. Again, just like with creating companies in bulk, once the enrichment process is done, you will receive a CSV file summarizing the enrichment. Let's go ahead and now talk about how we can enrich at the individual level. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and get to a company. Let's take a look at this food pantry here today. All right, so a prerequisite to enriching at the individual level is adding CosIQ profile cards to your company level objects. So that's done in your company settings. So if I scroll down here, you'll notice this CosIQ nonprofit profile card. So I've added that profile card to the company objects already. Within the profile cards here, I do have an option here for an actions dropdown. Within these actions dropdown, you'll see I do have the option to enrich the HubSpot record. So now we'll get a very similar enrichment page, but now what we're telling the integration to do is just enrich this one record rather than enriching a whole bunch of records belonging to a specific list. Right? And then once we've chosen the records that we want to enrich, we can hit enrich record. And now we can see we've gone ahead and enriched the record successfully. Since we're looking at these profile cards here, let's take a quick look at these. So these profile cards are handy to view some CosIQ data directly within HubSpot. That might not be, mapped in those settings pages. So within the profile cards, we'll provide a summary of the organization with a brief description, a financial overview, as well as some category tags. The financial section of the profile cards allows you to access raw tax forms for the given organization. And then personnel will show identified staff and board, and then available contact information will also be displayed here. Let's talk about how we can link an individual HubSpot company record one at a time. So what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to get back to a specific company. Let's take a look at Feeding San Diego. So back in the company record here, If I scroll down on this About tab, you can see here the CauseIQ nonprofit profile card is still showing, but this record isn't matched yet. So what we can do, we can show potential matches. I'm pretty confident that Feeding San Diego in my HubSpot instance is this same record in CauseIQ. I'm going to go ahead and match them up. And now the profile card is displaying, right, with the financials and personnel. Now, if I want to enrich this individual record with CauseIQ data, I can again click the Actions button, select Enrich this HubSpot record. I can take a look at the property values that are differing in my HubSpot, as well as what's available in CauseIQ. And after I choose the appropriate properties, I just need to click Enrich Record. I hope you found this video helpful. If the CauseIQ team can help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out.